Hey, so I want to slightly touch and revisit on yesterday. And I want to seriously ask you, where are you today? Where are you sitting? Are you down and out? You got nothing left. You got no fight left in you. You got nowhere to run. You got nowhere to turn to. You're over it. You can't handle it anymore. You know, there's a piece in 2 Kings chapter 4, where it speaks about there's 4 lepers that were sitting. And as the Bible had, lepers were not allowed near anybody. And they ended up turning to one another saying, "Why are we sitting here until we die? If there's famine in the city, we shall die there." So the interesting concept about this, if the outcome is expected to be death, they might as well try something that might not bring death. And if it still brings death, they would have maybe been in a better place. You understand what I'm saying? So yesterday, I mentioned yesterday that even if you're feeling in that place, and you should maybe just check on social medias and reach out there. Now, I find it very sad that some people is in that place where they've been pushed so far that they actually post videos about how they are dealing with stuff, and this is a difficult thing to do, number one. And number two, it's very dangerous as well, because unfortunately, because of the world, the people out there are toxic and poisonous, and it's also hurt people. We understand this, but social media is the worst of the worst, because there's so many keyboard warriors out there that wants to see you worse off, that wants to do it worse. So what I meant by it is, if there's somebody that attracts your attention, reach out to them in a private area, up in their DMs, and hit them a message up there. That's what I meant in a way, because doing it on the public platform, unfortunately, you're opening yourself up to all these very terrible, horrible comments that are probably going to come. I hope they don't. And I hope the real people that are truly concerned for you and about you and care for you are the ones that get in there. But we all know what's happening right now. There's also all these things, all these hurt, all the bitterness, all the types of things that's happening to you. I've learned recently a lot more. Some shape has taken place that, you might be anxious, you might have to suffer from depression, you might have all these different things going on in your head and in your mind, where all that stuff comes from rejection, really. And there's one beautiful testimony of a lady in one of the songs that most recently got released, where I truly want to say that's something you need to do as well. We shared last night in our home cell group. We shared some beautiful testimonies, but it came also to a point that sometimes, even if you don't believe what you are saying yet, you just say it, because now you're starting to speak life. If you speak in these good things over yourself, just say it, even if like, I don't even know what I'm saying. There's no point in saying that. Number two, don't say that. Say the stuff that, almost like that I'm going to tell you to say, sort of thing. But the best thing to do is look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself what you are, how good, not what you think you are. Maybe what the Bible tells you are, that you're a winner, you're a victor, you first. And you stand, you look yourself in the mirror, and you curse that spirit of rejection that's over your life. And you receive the spirit of adoption, because God has adopted you into his kingdom. That's who God is, my friend. There's such a vast amount of scriptures to tell you this. And there's a few I want to quickly share with you. And it comes from Deuteronomy, Jeremiah, Luke, 1 Peter, John. But the point is, it's things that God says. Deuteronomy 31 says God will go with you. He will go with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Now, if he will never leave you nor forsake you, you can't truly be alone, can you? He says in Jeremiah, he says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And before you were born, I set you apart. Luke 12, he says, I know how many hairs are on your head. Every hair on your head is counted. They are numbered. God has a number. Look at all this hair. Okay, mine's not very long, and some people have less, and some people have more. It doesn't matter. The fact is, there's still plenty. We can't count them. And God can count them. How cool is that? Right? In 1 Peter, he says you must cast your burdens upon him, and he says he cares for you. He cares for you. So whether you're sitting there and you're in that place where you truly feel worthless, God still cares for you. Oh man. Verse 8 and 9 further in this chapter, it says, it speaks about literally what the enemy comes to do, and that's why he's got you in that place, because he came, he did his thing, and you believed it because of all the stuff that's happening around us. Verse 8, it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seek him who he may devour. My friend, if you're isolated in that place, that's exactly what's going to happen. And then verse 9 is awesome. Verse 9 says, resist him, steadfast in faith. Resist him, steadfast in faith. If you go to John 10, where it says the thief comes only to kill, steal, and destroy, because that's what he does. But Jesus said, I have come that you may have life, and that you may have it in abundance. In James 4 is the one that follows up on that well, where it comes to, resist him and be steadfast in faith. In 1 Peter 5, verse 9. James chapter 4, verse 7 says, therefore submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee. So if you submit and resist, he must flee. He must flee. And he must start leaving you alone. And then it goes on to say, draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. You, me, us, insignificant little people over here are so precious to him. You are so precious to God. Isaiah 43 it really hit me as my chapter for today, because God says so great many things, but just a couple of them. He says, I've called you by your name. You are mine. You are his. You are his, my friend. God has called you by your name. You are his. In the very first verse of chapter 43 of Isaiah, he says, I've called you by your name. You are mine. You are mine. You are mine. You belong to the Lord. Verse 4 says, you were precious in my sight. You have been honored, and I have loved you. God loves you, my friend. Oh man, he loves you. Maybe you find yourself in a place that you've never read the Bible. Maybe that's the one move you haven't tried it. You've tried everything else, and you see this Okie, this guy over here, John, you see him sitting over here, and he's coming at you, and he's like, yeah, but there's another biblical guy. I don't believe in the Bible. I'm not going to read the Bible. It doesn't require you to. You don't need to believe what I believe. You just need to give it a shot. That's all I'm saying. Listen to what the leper said. Surely we're sitting here, we're going to die anyway. Let's go there where there's some good stuff for us. We can die there. That's fine. At least we're going to have some betterness. There's going to be some better stuff for us. Why haven't you tried the Bible though? If I can ask you that. Why are you afraid? Are you scared that it might actually change your life? Are you scared that it might actually get you out of that place? Did you listen to how silly these questions are? Is to give it a shot. Give it a try. Because I've got some incredible news for you today. If your life is in shambles, if you're in such a terrible place, the thing is, if you've tried everything else and your life didn't get anywhere, didn't go anywhere, this is merely a suggestion. Read the Bible. Try and pray. Just find some worship music on YouTube and just even sit there. Give it a shot. It might be different. Because as I said, if your life is really in a terrible state, if you are up here in a terrible state and you're not doing well, I've got some news for you, my friend. If that is the situation that you are in, by giving this a shot, it's absolutely going to change your life, and it's going to change everything for you.